Dr. Waldrop, I've never felt in awe of a person. You know how, Erica, you and I have talked about how I respect you for sort of your penchant and your look for details and your ability to sort of be resolute in figuring things out. Mm-hmm. When I started working with Dr. Waldrop, the man is intimidating. He's scary. He's the most driven person that I know. And his ability to have committed his life to training periodontists, future periodontists, is something that had a very, very lasting effect on me, and I still think about today. He's definitely like the number one person that I think about in terms of how I was formed. And the way I say that is the first year when I was at Richmond, like we talked about, VCU, was the most intense year of my life. The expectations on us were ungodly. I mean, they were unbelievable, but you worked so hard and wanted to be like this person, Dr. Waldrop. Just an absolute driven, I'm going to say maniac, but I'm going to say it in like the most loving way. I'll give you an example of how driven this guy is. He is a military guy and has committed his life, or did commit his life, to training, future students in periodontics, etc. And his commitment to that, he was always on time. He never had fancy, goofy things to do. He was always, when we were reviewing literature, which we did once a week, really twice a week, but we'll say once a week was the big one. He was always there. He was always on time. He was the one that set a better example than any of us who were trying to be good, right? But to give you a good example of just how resolute he was in his drive, this man, I think he was in like the over 50 years old class of triathletes, okay? Wow. He was top 30 in the world in this class, okay? Just a small little story, and I may be telling this story wrong. It may just be a legend at this point, but I'm positive it's pretty true. This man was in the world championships he was in the top 30 of triathletes doing an Ironman, right? Do you know what an Ironman is?
I believe it's the biking, the running, and the swimming.
Yes.
Okay.
But to ungodly levels, right? So it's I think it's a 2.5 mile swim, wow, 112 mile bike, and a full marathon, a 26.2 run, right?
Amazing.
And he's in the top 30 of the world for over 50, right? So this man falls off of his bike, okay? He has a collapsed lung. Medical comes up to talk to him, and they say, "Sir, we don't think this is a good idea. We've checked you out. This is not great. You shouldn't finish this. I know it sucks, but you should come off the path." Man gets on his bike and starts biking some more. And they ended up physically pulling him. They pulled their card and said, no. This is not how this goes, after a mile or two or whatever. We're pulling you for your own safety. You cannot do this. But he intended on finishing. I say that as a story of, I've never been in awe of a person more of how committed he was. If he started something, he was going to finish it. Mm-hmm. He enjoyed excellence. He wanted it. He craved it. He made you crave it. And what I appreciate, the reason why I'm telling you this story, what I appreciate the most is that was in the most formative time of my career. That was when I was first really learning who I was as a surgeon, as a periodontist, right? And I'm glad that was the experience there, not just dentistry, because dentistry, you end up losing a lot of skills. You carry a lot, but when you're focused on this is going to be my life, I really want to do this well and I want to excel, having that drive or that person to strive after is something that I still get to carry on, hopefully get to carry on his legacy every day. And the dedication and the commitment to following fundamental basics, that things that you don't violate, surgical basics. I was always able to see when I did transfer, since I did have a different approach or different perspective, I could see there was a big physical difference there in the way that I was trained and in the pressure and the pressure forms diamonds. There was a difference. There was a definite difference. And I'm not just calling it to myself. I'm going to say I knew that there was somebody practicing in Richmond with that same penchant. And there was a difference between that and a little bit more of a laid back program. And so I will always be indebted to Dr. Waldrop.